It was the world that knocked on your grandmother's door and told her that she should give up 397 acres and 400 acres of land called the power property, 1 penny for each acre of land. What your grandmother was left with was a jar of soil called Shoe Hill, the contaminated hill where you were born, Ma. That world never bothered to change the name for the power property. And there you were at age 8, sun rising with the moldy men and the washer-wear women and God's yarn and morning stench, tickled in the rooster's neck, washing you, waking you good colored folks to toil on that power property, to pick cotton for white folks as if being cheap and exploited labor was your birthright. And you were angry by and by, Mother. You would get so angry, Aunt Bertie told me, that sweat droplets would turn form on your nose, your brow would curl up in the world, and anyone would become your empty lard can to kick back and forth, up and down the road a piece. But Mom, you were such a pretty little black girl. I have this picture of you right here this minute, of you at 12 or 13, tender and dark ebony skin, a beautiful yet temperamental and unloved black girl, told that you were ugly, that you had ugly hair, that you'd never be anything other than the help or wooden steps for someone else's climb. But you were persistent, Ma, and mad determined to make something of yourself. And Jersey City welcomed you as it welcomed each of the lost found children of the Old South, welcomed your country cousins to number runners, slumlords, pimps, drug dealers, bad credit, huge debts, and would-be prophets who call themselves preachers. And there you were, Mother, within a year with my father. Was he your first love, Mom? Did he mop the Carolina clay from your feet? Did he sprinkle sweet tea and lemon on your belly? Did he really make love to you, Mother? Or was he like that plantation robot who was built to make a quick exit to the next slave quarters? What I do know, Mother, is that you went to the hospital alone to spread your legs for a doctor whose plasma face you do not remember, to push forth the seed you had attempted to destroy twice because you feared his birth would mean the death of you. But there I was, Ma, in your arms, screaming, lunging, fleeing, and you were so tremendously ashamed to be an unwed mother that you did not tell my grandma Laureate for 5 years until we just showed up in South Carolina one day. But what a mother you were. You taught me to talk, taught me to know my name, taught me to count, to read, to think, to aspire to be something. You, my grade school mother, gave me my swagger, told me I was going to be a lawyer or a doctor, told me I was going to do big things, that I was going to have a better life than this welfare, food stamp, government cheese had preordained for us. And we prayed, Mother. Yes, Lord, we prayed to that God in the sky, to the white Jesus on our walls, to the minister with the good hair and the telesuits, to the minister with the gift, to chalk on busted souls and spit game in foreign tongues. And I did not understand the talking in tongues, the need to pin pieces of prayer cloth on our attire, the church going to church twice a week, the desperate calls to prayer hotlines. But what you were doing, Mom, was stapling our paper lives together as best you could, making a way out of no way. Especially after my father announced when I was 8, I'm not going to give you a near nickel for him ever again. And he hung up the phone on you, and we never saw him again. And sometimes I wonder, Mother, if that's what happened. If that's why the attacks got worse, because you were so viciously wounded by my father's ignorance and brutality. And that ignorance and brutality was transferred to me. And in one breath you would say, don't be like your father. And in the other breath you would say, you just like your father. And yes, I'm crying this second, Mother, as I write this poem because I see you today, a retired black woman with a limp, a bad leg, shuffling up and down 3 flights of stairs, too headstrong to allow me to move you from that heatless apartment, life reduced to the trip to the grocery store, a bus ride to the mall, a sacred pilgrimage to the laundry room, and the daily ritual of judge shows over in the local news. And Mother, you remain without the love you forever crave. And Mother, you remain without the love you forever crave. You are so very worn out from 54 years of backbreaking work, but I know this now, your life was sacrificed so that I could have it. So I write this poem, son to Mother, to say I love you, even if you refuse to accept my words, because you are too afraid to defeat the devil and bury the past with the ancestors once and for all. And I write this poem, Mother, to say I forgive you for everything. For the poverty, for the violence, for the hunger, for the loneliness, for the fear, for the days when I blamed you for my absent father, for the days when I wanted to run away, for those days when I really did run away. I forgive you, Mom, for those days you cursed and belittled me, for those days when you said I was never going to make it. And yes, I do forgive. I forgive you the beatings. I forgive the beatings. Even when I was asleep, the beatings. Because if it's not for all of who you are and where you come from and all of what you created, I would not be alive today. For below the bloody scar tissues of your fire and fury and aggravations and self-imposed house arrest is a woman who defied the myth makers, turned her nose up at the doomsayers, is someone who fought landlords and crooked police officers and social workers and school systems and deadbeat men who wanted to live off of her, and from the tar and feather remains of their lives loose from the very beginning, we have survived, and here we are, mother. You've never said you love me. And I know every time I come home, and you've made potato salad and string beans. Every time you mail me a birthday card or ask me to buy pajamas for me for Christmas, I know that you, in your own wildly predictable way, are the greatest love I've ever had in my life. Thank you.